Here's what went down Thursday, September 18th, 2025, on Beyond the Gates. When Andre and Danny did some drunk trip planning, Tomas asked, but didn't receive, and Vanessa came clean about money laundering and her marriage. On Beyond the Gates, Vanessa met Joey at Uptown, where he wanted to show his lover something that would take her breath away. Here? In public? Vanessa snickered. Joey handed her an envelope full of cash to be deposited to our usual account. Vanessa wondered what had taken her so long to get involved with money laundering. Joey sensed that the risk still scared her a little. The realtor told the kingpin how her accountant had gotten suspicious, but also that she had stuck to their story. Getting away with it, Vanessa grinned, was almost as good as sex. Mrs. McBride acknowledged there were certain aspects about Joey's business that he chose to keep her ignorant to, but she exhorted him to acknowledge that she made a pretty good criminal. Joey wanted to be sure Doug wasn't going to interrupt them, and intimated that Doug might have put a tracking device on Vanessa. She recalled that Joey had been the one to bug Doug, but Joey flashed back to Doug walking in on him and Vanessa in a passionate embrace without Vanessa seeing him. Vanessa didn't want to discuss Doug anymore, so Joey came out and asked Vanessa if she would move in with him. "No," was her immediate answer. Vanessa said she had a life with Doug, plus he was the father of her children, and they had been each other's firsts. When Joey noticed her lack of the L word, Vanessa insisted that she loved Doug. It was just that their marriage wasn't what it used to be. When Vanessa wouldn't admit that she also loved Joey, he divulged that thoughts of her were what kept him going through the day. Joey sensed that Vanessa did love him, which is why she had come back to him after supposedly ending things. And he couldn't understand Vanessa continuing to stay with Doug, given what they had. Vanessa said the topic of Doug made her lose interest in other subjects and sassed that Joey must be the one with a thing for Doug, considering how focused Joey was on him. She decided to leave so she could find someone else who would appreciate all her fabulousness, but Joey roughly grabbed her arm, wanting to continue the conversation. Vanessa let Joey know that one couldn't simply turn off a relationship they'd had since high school like a faucet. She was comfortable with Doug, and he knew all her facets, whereas Joey only knew a few. Joey listened as Vanessa conceded that she'd long since figured out that she needed sex more than Doug did, and he remarked that her appetite was one of her most endearing qualities. Vanessa qualified that she had been one of the best customers of Joey's escort service, but she had never felt tempted to leave Doug for any of the men she'd hired. Being asked if he could live with Vanessa, sleeping next to Doug every night, Joey pivoted and revealed that Vanessa's activity with his escort service had ceased right around the time the two of them had started carrying on. Vanessa tried to act like it was because she didn't want Joey knowing about her personal life, but Joey pulled out of her that, maybe, in the end, I really am a one-man kind of girl. Randy took a booth with Doug at Orphe Jeans, nervous that appearing at the diner wouldn't keep him off of Joey's radar. Doug sadly told his friend how he had caught Vanessa with Joey after she promised not to see him anymore. The heart surgeon was ready once again to take Joey down. Randy thought Doug should reconsider, since you like breathing. Doug wanted to do something quick and certain, reporting Joey's money laundering, and the fact that Joey had blackmailed Vanessa into aiding him would be enough to make Joey go away. Randy reminded Doug that he would be destroying Vanessa as well. Was that what Doug wanted? Doug insisted that he and Vanessa loved each other, which Randy silently disbelieved. "I guess some guys can just handle being cucks better than others," Randy said, knowing he wouldn't be as forgiving with his own wife. Doug tried to get tough and wanted to settle things outside, which Randy blew off. Mr. McBride claimed he was used to Vanessa's habits, but her fling with Joey was different, because Joey was making things personal. Therefore, Doug said, Joey had to be taken out of the picture. Randy wouldn't help Doug figure out how to neutralize Joey without taking Vanessa down with him, refusing to put himself in Joey's line of fire again. Doug upheld that he would enact a plan with or without Randy. Haley came downstairs to find Bill had arrived home. She asked how his conversation with Danny went. Bill stalled, telling Haley how beautiful she was. Haley hoped Bill could say she wouldn't have to think about Danny at all going forward. Bill assured Haley he had made it clear to his ex that, While he was glad they'd lowered their temperature and been able to come together during Chelsea's kidnapping crisis, they did have separate lives, except when it came to their daughters. "Trust me, Danny gets it," Bill added, though Haley was sure that Danny had figured out how she'd sent Bill over with the message. After she started to delve further into exactly what Danny had said, Haley caught herself and thanked Bill for doing exactly what she had asked. Bill offered to give Haley a pass for her slight nagging as long as she gave him a pass for not paying her enough attention, getting an amused grunt out of her when he addressed how she had tried to use Tomas to make him jealous. Haley was all too willing to achieve mutual forgiveness because it meant make-up sex. The Hamiltons were intruded upon by the doorbell. Haley promised she would kill Danny if it was her. However, it was Doug, who wanted a moment with Bill. Haley purred that she would go get ready for the prior engagement Bill notified Doug they had. Then Doug explained Joey's money laundering scheme to Bill and Vanessa's part in it. Bill defined the crime as a Class B felony and found it a tall order that Doug wanted Joey to go to jail without Vanessa also ending up behind bars. "That's why I came to the best," Doug complimented. Bill realized that Doug had known for a while about Vanessa helping Joey to conceal the source of his ill-gotten gains, and, upon hearing that Doug was getting a cut, the lawyer was unclear as to why Doug wanted to end to the arrangement. "I just do," Doug said matter-of-factly. Bill also intuited that Vanessa had gotten cozy with Joey. Doug was adamant that Vanessa was putting her life at risk because of her association with Armstrong, though Bill noticed that Doug's wife hadn't accompanied him to the ask. Doug, wanting to make up to Vanessa for dragging her into the mess he'd created, told Bill, who wanted to know if there was any evidence connecting her to the illegal doings or if there was anything they could use to cut a deal for her, that Vanessa kept 2 sets of books, one for the government and one bearing the true numbers. Bill concurred that law enforcement would find the accounting helpful. Then, Doug mentioned that he'd had a friend who was afraid to come forward and talk about how Joey had tasked him with committing a murder, which piqued Bill's interest. When Bill heard that someone else besides Doug's friend had done the killing, which the police had ruled an accident, Bill looked to be putting some pieces together, but didn't elaborate. Doug noted that he and Bill had known each other a long time and implored his friend to help him take Joey out of commission while retaining Vanessa's freedom. Once Doug left, Bill apologized to Haley for having to take a rain check on their makeup sex. There was something very important he had to do before meeting Naomi and Chelsea for dinner. Haley sighed as Bill ran out. Following, Bill found Joey and Vanessa together at Uptown. Vanessa wouldn't leave when Bill asked to talk to Joey alone, and Joey cavalierly pronounced that whatever Bill had to say to him, he could vocalize in front of Vanessa. "No," Bill held firm. "I can't." At the country club, Danny and Andre toasted to Ashley and Bill, the ones who had gotten away, remarking on how long they'd been sitting there drinking. Danny called Bill a big old ventriloquist dummy, knowing Haley had put the relationship-clarifying words in Bill's mouth. The former model thought it was selfish for Haley to rain on the family dinner Bill and Danny had planned because Haley was insecure. "And she should be," Danny punctuated. Andre took from that Haley had reason to be worried. Danny griped about how Haley had come between Bill and his daughters before, which Danny would no longer allow. After Andre pointed out that Danny and Bill would always be bonded through their children, he lamented that that was a connection he would never have. Danny was surprised to hear Andre say he'd never considered having kids, especially knowing what he'd gotten out of delivering the baby with Ashley in the hospital elevator. Andre felt that dwelling on that was as futile as Danny dwelling on Bill. "Love the one you're with," the two decided. "And then love somebody else." Danny wanted Andre to be her player tutor, then thought better of it when she realized he had been in town for months. When Danny said she used to be like Andre, he recognized that was likely the reason they clicked as well as they did and shared his first rule: don't care about anything, because it kept one free. After naming her next drink the Bill because it was intoxicating, but definitely bad for me, Danny called Andre out for wanting to keep boozing when he had taken her to task for her excessive consumption of alcohol before. Andre interpreted something Danny said as a request to take her out of town and asked where she wanted to go. She responded that another drink would help her clink the early. Later, Andre announced he had bad news. Bill and Ashley ran off together? Danny giggled, but the bartender had cut them both off. Danny yelled that her family had founded the club and that the rules didn't apply to her, a trait which Andre said had first attracted him to her. After she sniggered that she couldn't remember what she had initially found attractive in Andre, she started kissing on his neck. Andre said they couldn't be doing that in public, which reminded Danny about the trip she became more interested in taking. When Danny wanted to get a car to take her home so she could pack, Andre boasted that he always kept a packed bag handy and proposed that they just go straight to the airport. Danny agreed, and the two drunkenly found their way out of the country club. Tomas brought a blindfolded Kat to a hotel room, surprising her with a special night of roses and dinner. After Tomas removed the cloth, Kat saw the bed and grimaced. He saw her displeasure, but she rallied and told her boyfriend she loved how he'd gone to so much trouble for her. They kissed, then Tomas put on music she liked and poured her favorite champagne, since he was aware of her family's high standards. After Kat laughed that Tomas viewed her as a challenge, Tomas recalled when he'd first laid eyes on her and admitted that he'd been terrified to say hello to her, predicting she'd reject him. Kat was glad he'd taken the chance and, upon Tomas's query, relayed that Chelsea had been doing a lot better since Anita had gotten her to think differently about her future. She showed him a promo video of her and Chelsea announcing their online launch as taking place Tuesday, September 29th. Tomas was happy for the cousins, though Kat was still bothered by how Allison had shaken Chelsea's confidence. Tomas brought in dinner, then presented Kat with a fortune cookie on a silver tray, whose fortune read, "Just ask." Learning Tomas would give her whatever she wanted, she suggested that they dance. The movement quickly led to a kiss, which led to sitting on the bed and taking clothes off. Afterwards, Tomas asked a sullen Kat why they ended up not making love, but she didn't want to get into it. That answer didn't work for Tomas, who said sex wasn't fun for him if it wasn't fun for her. Kat got out of bed and snapped, "So sorry I ruined your fun." Kat didn't think she measured up to the more experienced women Tomas had been with, and she was defensive despite Tomas seeming genuine in his desire to repair the disconnect that kept happening between them. "Maybe you're the one who's not that great in bed," Kat finally barked, devastating Tomas. Though Kat instantly appeared contrite for what she'd blurted out, she used an app to get a ride home instead of letting Tomas take her. "Suit yourself," Tomas replied coldly, leaving Kat alone in the hotel room. "Hey babes, welcome back to Gossip Delight. It's your girl Daisy, and trust me, today's tea is scorching, steamy, and absolutely unmissable. Buckle up because we're diving straight into the drama. Here are your spoilers for Beyond the Gates on Friday, September 19th, 2025. The Dupree family is under the pump, proving the age-old adage of, "It never rains, but it pours." Nicole and Ted's divorce, Chelsea's kidnapping, all on the back of Leslie's revelation that she is the daughter of Barbara, the original articulette, and heir to her fortune, and we can't forget Martin's nightmare scenario, and all the skeletons that came bolting from the closet after that blew up. It's not getting any easier for them in Friday's episode. Nicole learns something deeply disturbing, while Anita and Vernon grow increasingly worried about the state of affairs in their family. Vanessa continues her dangerous liaisons with Joey, much to the distress of her husband Doug. But soon, things will be put in place that may even the playing field for Doug. Two people like Bill and Joey should never be seen in the same room as each other. Nothing good happens when these two are working together, but that's precisely what we are going to get in Friday's episode. Vanessa spies Bill and Joey with their heads together and demands answers. The question is, which one needs the other today? If it's Bill that needs Joey, then there are going to be some repercussions for someone who has displeased him. If it's the other way around, then maybe Doug should be very, very careful. Knowledge is most definitely power within the vaunted gates of Fairmount Crest. In Friday's episode, Leslie seeks out information regarding her mother. Simple as it seems, it's never just that easy where Leslie Thomas is concerned. Or for once, are we going to see Leslie dig into the past to learn more about the woman who birthed her, then gave her up to pursue her dreams? Digging too deep into the past reveals the good with the bad, and some skeletons are better left buried. Friday is here, and its goal is to have us hanging out for Monday and our next dose of Beyond the Gates. So stay tuned, soap fans, as we are sure to be left with a cliffhanger moment again. Danny and Andre continue to partake in my favorite pastime, drinking their woes away. Insisting they aren't dwelling on Bill and/or Ashley, they go on to do exactly that. Eventually, they raise a toast to loving the one you're with and then moving on to love someone else. The drinking buddies get increasingly sloshed, especially after chugging cocktails named after their no longer significant others. When the bartender cuts them off, Andre suggests they take off on a mystery trip, and she agrees. Are these two about to run off and do something foolish, like getting married? Haley and Bill are also sipping on drinks, while he fills her in on his conversation with Danny. His ex now knows, Bill shares, that the only thing connecting them is their children. The married pair are about to have makeup sex when Doug arrives. At Uptown, Vanessa is high on the thrill of money laundering with Joey, unaware that Doug is planning to bring her partner in crime down. The casino owner catches his lover completely off guard by suggesting they move in together. She shoots that idea down, however, saying that while her marriage might be unconventional, she does love her husband. Vanessa admits she learned long ago she needed more sex than Doug and sought it elsewhere. But she loves her husband and has no intention of leaving him. That said, Joey calls her out for having quit using his escort service right after they started hooking up. Maybe, she suggests, she's a one-man woman in a rather unconventional sense. Despite Randy suggesting it won't end well and refusing to be involved, Doug declares it's time to bring out the big guns. He goes to see Bill and fills him in on the money laundering. His hope? That Bill can bust Joey but leave Vanessa out of the mix. Bill later arrives at Uptown to crash Vanessa and Joey's party, saying he needs to talk to the casino owner, alone. Looking to restart their stalled romance, Tomas takes a blindfolded cat to a hotel room for a romantic dinner. Once there, they turn the heat up to 10. Dinner, dancing, and, well, yet another disappointing sexual encounter. Tomas wants to talk things out, but an overly reactive cat takes everything he says the wrong way and then suggests that perhaps she's not the problem. Maybe you're the one, she snaps, who's not that great in bed. Beyond the Gates spoilers suggest that fans were shocked this week when Leslie Thomas was finally able to successfully seduce Ted Richardson. Ted was drunk, and Leslie took advantage of the situation. However, as quickly as the two bonded, Leslie was dismissed by Ted and sent out of his hotel room. Leslie's portrayer, Trisha Mann Grant, recently spoke with Soaps.com about her character's unhealthy obsession with Ted. BTG spoilers remind fans that Leslie is Ted's mistress, and their affair decades ago resulted in their daughter, Eva Thomas. Ted broke up with Leslie shortly after this, asked her to terminate her pregnancy, and has been rejecting her ever since. Still, she seems determined to gain his love and affection. What's up with that? Soaps.com asked the question on every fan's mind. Does Leslie love Ted, or is this about winning? Mann Grant notes she believes it's both, stating, she does love him, but a part of it is, I've got to win this. I've got to make this man mine and conquer him. In addition, the actress points out that Leslie is holding on to the past, wanting the family she never got with Ted, something she feels she's owed and is determined to get at any cost. Another interesting concept that was brought up was the possibility that Leslie and Ted become a couple. What would happen next? Could Leslie be happy? Mann Grant states, she thinks so. She just wants her teddy-weddy. But I think she'd be bored once she got him, because it's like, okay, now the whole game and the fun is over. What's next? Trisha adds that Leslie is complicated, noting, she needs a hug. Sometimes I get the script, and I'm like, she's still chasing him? My goodness. On Beyond the Gates, Mike Manning's Bradley Smitty Smith is the charming, big-hearted character who loves his family and his political reporting career. That's exactly the space he wants to stay in, the good side of life, just like the new, out-of-this-world role he's currently tackling. Manning's film, Unexpected Treasures, is out on September 19. He plays Sam, a mysterious alien, who is on the run in the heart of Joshua Tree, California. The comedic and heartfelt adventure embraces the unexpected connection humans make with a sensitive alien in the sweetest way. Sam is like the golden retriever alien, jokes Manning in a recent interview with Soaps.com. He's kind, he's happy, he's sensitive, and throughout this journey, Sam, the alien, ends up restoring the human's faith in humanity. It's exactly the type of character Manning is leaning into right now at this stage of his career because he's had his share of playing baddies, including his time on Days of Our Lives as Charlie Dale. "It was so much fun to play Sam because a lot of the time I play villains or bad guys," he says. "My current role, what I'm doing right now on Beyond the Gates aside, I've sort of had a history of playing villains. For Unexpected Treasures, it was really nice to go to Joshua Tree to be a nice guy with no agenda, just trying to get back to the spaceship." Manning finds it refreshing to dive into the ethereal role, and he's equally thrilled to keep Smitty on the good side of this Earth, too. "If I'm being honest, I already did that with Charlie Dale on Days of Our Lives," he recalls. "I started out as a nice guy, and he turned into a wicked guy who kidnapped his mother and tried to kill people. So, I don't know if I want to go that route anytime soon. To be honest with you, it's kind of been refreshing. Refreshing to play the good guy." If Manning has his way, Smitty won't be stepping to the dark side anytime soon, although you never know what to expect in daytime. Unexpected Treasures is available for purchase or rental on Amazon Prime and Apple TV Plus on Friday, September 19. Beyond the Gate spoilers for Thursday, September 18th indicate that Joey Armstrong will present a shocking proposal to Vanessa McBride, while Thomas Navarro will have some interesting romance plans in mind. During the Wednesday, September 17th episode, Thomas and Catherine "Cat" Richardson made up for that mean girl comment he made recently, and the two committed to making the relationship work. During the September 18th show, Thomas will organize something uber-romantic for Cat. Still, is this a recipe for disaster? Cat hasn't enjoyed her time with Tomas in the bedroom, so will this latest date end with her feeling even more awkward than ever? Is Tomas terrible in bed, or does Cat have an issue with intimacy? Only time will tell. Meanwhile, BTG spoilers suggest Andre Richardson will have some sort of challenge for Danny Dupree. The two met up for drinks at the end of Wednesday's show and complained about their former love interests, Ashley Morgan and Bill Hamilton. Of course, Ashley told Andre about her engagement to Derek Baldwin, while Bill set out clear boundaries with Danny, thanks to a little nudging from his wife, Haley Hamilton. It looks like Andre and Danny will decide to fluff off, feeling miserable, and go on a mini vacay during the September 8th episode. Andre's little challenge for Danny will be to choose a spot for their impromptu trip, and it sounds like they will be headed to the City of Sin, Las Vegas. What kind of trouble will these two get into? Plenty! In other news, Beyond the Gates spoilers reveal Vanessa will be completely caught off guard when Joey makes her a shocking offer. What kind of proposal will he present to his business partner and side piece? Could he ask her to marry him? Vanessa is already hitched to Doug McBride, but in the land of Fairmont Crest, a quickie divorce is always plausible, and fans can tell there's far more heat between Vanessa and Joey right now than Vanessa and her hubby Doug. Speaking of Doug, the gambling addict will finally come up with a plan to bring Joey down. Joey not only humiliated him when he conned him out of his money, but he also stole Vanessa's heart and found a way to use her real estate agency to launder funds. The weirdest part of this entire story is that Vanessa is totally okay with criminal activity, and Joey's sliminess seems to be more of a turn-on for her. Beyond the Gates, spoilers hint that Doug may have a fatal scheme in store for Joey. But if the casino owner finds out, he could turn the tables on the former surgeon, which means Doug could suffer some dangerous consequences. What will Leslie learn about her mother? The Beyond the Gates spoilers for Friday, September 19th, 2025, suggest that Leslie will seek out information about her mother. Will she get the answers she needs? Leslie seeks out information regarding her mother. She will find out the truth about her mother's past. Leslie has been desperate to get answers. But what kind of intel will she get? And will this bring some sort of satisfaction? Or will this make matters more complicated? Meanwhile, Nicole learns something deeply disturbing while Anita and Vernon grow increasingly worried about their family's situation. This could suggest that more problems are coming for them, Just when the Duprees get over one situation, there's more drama on the way. They can't catch a break. Vanessa will catch Bill and Joey in a suspicious meeting, and she's not the only one spying lately. Obviously, they look suspicious with their heads together, especially since they don't get along. She's going to wonder what they're doing behind her back. This moment causes her to demand answers. Will she get the answers she's looking for? Or will the lies continue? How much longer before these two realize they don't click in or out of bed? Joey and Vanessa laid their cards out on the table. Doug flirted with danger in deciding, once again, to go after Joey. A more than tipsy Danny and Andre decided to head out on an educational getaway. Also in the Thursday, September 18th, episode of Beyond the Gates, Tomas decided to stage a special evening for Kat in a hotel room, which was not subtle. We've long wondered why Kat hasn't called it quits with Tomas, and now we're doubling down on that sentiment. In Thursday's episode, the associate at Bill's law firm staged what he hoped would be an epic evening for him and Kat. Emphasis on staged. He blindfolded her so he could surprise her with a hotel room where they would wine and dine. Tomas made sure to ask Kat about her life and how her cousin was doing post-kidnap. She shared tidbits about her life, but didn't ask any questions about his. His pièce de résistance was a custom-made fortune cookie with a fortune that read, "Just ask." She asked him to dance, and the dance led them to making love on an actual bed rather than a couch. It doesn't matter whether Kat and Tomas do it on a couch or a bed. The same results happen. They don't click. Kat doesn't feel any joy or elation afterwards, so how many times are they going to have to go through this type of experience and realize they aren't meant to be? These two like the idea of being together, but in practice, it doesn't work. Somebody has to call it. Tomas walked out, and Kat stayed back and said she would wait for the car she had called. Why does Tomas want to fix things between them so hard? We need a little bit more of his perspective, and not from talking to Eva. It would be great if he had a family member or a friend he could open up to, so we could see the real Tomas or find out his real motives for wanting to date Kat so badly. It has to be a lot, because Leslie doesn't seem worried as she throws money at every obstacle. Hurricane Leslie continued to blow through Fairmont Crest during the Tuesday, September 16th episode of Beyond the Gates. Leslie and Ted's post-coital moments were less than pleasant. In the light of day and clear of head, Ted realized that sleeping with Leslie was a big mistake. He was super wasted, by the way, but he acknowledged his stupidity, and if he ever hoped to get back with Nicole, he had to know this wasn't the way to go. Ted asked Leslie to keep what they just did under wraps. Why did he even ask her such a thing? The woman had some sweet, and very damaging intel that she would use in a hot minute. In fact, it took her 2 seconds to tell Eva, and by the end of the episode, she not so slyly let the cat, or should we say Ty, out of the bag again. And now, Nicole won't have to worry about debating whether or not she was hard on Ted. There's no way he will touch that man with a 10-foot pole anytime soon. We know Anita felt so guilty about what happened to Barbara. She wanted to do some good for the woman responsible for the Articulettes uniting. She feels she owed it to Barbara to provide for the years she missed with the group, and the years she missed collecting the residuals after the group disbanded. The Dupree matriarch set up a trust that would provide for Barbara's descendants. Leslie got the first check, but at this point, how much was in that first deposit? Has she also received subsequent checks? It's clear that Leslie doesn't know how to manage money. She does know how to spend it. She has been spending it on retail therapy, and now she's trying to buy her way beyond the gates. And it's working. She offered Anita and Vernon's across-the-street neighbors, the Jarvises, double her previous offer. As a result of this aggressive deal, she got the house. However, it doesn't look like she will move in anytime soon. She said that she's going to completely tear down the classy mansion and rebuild it in a style of her own choosing. After Vernon had her membership at their country club revoked, she made an offer that Gabe, the FCCC board president, couldn't refuse, a new sports wing for the club. And of course, it'll bear her name. How much is in that trust? Will she have enough left over for the new house's maintenance? Currently, it is safe to assume that money will be an endless supply and that it will never run out. Because Dana Leslie Thomas is blowing through her money like it's nobody's business. And, of course, Once it gets close to zeroing out, she'll undoubtedly hit up Anita for more.